Hello everybody, I'm John Bowley. I'm the head of music at JCG and want to talk to you about GCSE music, which I have to say excites me greatly. I think it's a wonderful course, and I am very pleased that you're here considering this as an option. There are lots of different questions I've been asked about this over the last few days, and the most repetitive one, the one that comes back most frequently, is who is eligible to do this? Who could do it? You know, is it a realistic choice? And I want to reassure you that yes, it is. The standard that is required at the end of year 11 is about grade 4, grade 3 to grade 4. That's what the board expects. And if we count back, that means that now I would hope that any student thinking of music is going to be about grade 2. But I know that there's quite a few students who are quite a lot further on than that, which is exciting. And so basically this course really is very open. And let me tell you about it. There are three main bits. There's performance, as I started mentioning, you have to perform, and you can play or you can sing. And in a moment I'll share a PDF that I have explaining all the standards, okay? But there's performance, and then there's composition. And we've got some fantastic software called Sibelius, and you have to compose a couple of pieces of music. And then, so those two elements are coursework, and they go on throughout the 2 years. And then the final part is studying some pieces of music. And there are 8 pieces of music that we learn all about. It's great to really be able to get under the skin of this music. And I have to say, it's all sorts of music. If I tell you the list, you'll be amazed, because music is such a broad church that it's important that that we acknowledge that and look at all sorts. So there's instrumental music and vocal music and music for stage and screen and music called fusion. If you think of food fusion, it's a bit like that, taking one thing from one culture, one thing from another, put it together, see if you like the taste. So I think I'll open this PDF now and talk about it all in a bit more detail. So, that didn't quite work. Hang on a second. Okay. It may be that I send you this file on in a different way, because that didn't enormously want to share. So I think what I'll do, rather than mess around with this, is describe it now, and then I can forward it on. So the solo performing, and if we talk about the performance, you have to perform for at least 4 minutes. And you are as both a soloist and as a member of an ensemble. And the ensemble can be of any sort, and we help you decide what to do. And of course, as this is coursework, we can have lots and lots of goes of doing it, which is great. And of course, your instrumental teachers will really help you prepare for this. And then there's composition. And similarly, there's a couple of compositions that you have to do. One, they give you a brief. So in effect, that's a title. So it might be something like, imagine you're going out for a walk on a beautifully sunny morning, or imagine you're coming home in the rain, something like that, to fire your imagination. And then there are the set works. And as I said, these come from a range of types of music. The first section is called instrumental music, from 1700 to 1820. I guess this is what people see as sort of classical music. So it's important, I think, that there's a couple of pieces in there. There's a piece of Bach, one of his Brandenburg concertos, a movement from that. And there's an amazing piece of Beethoven, a movement from a piano sonata. So there is the sort of the classical element, if you like. And then there's some vocal music. There's some Henry Purcell, who again, very old composer, and Killer Queen from Queen. So this is where now we're beginning to see where all worlds merge together in this hodgepodge. And then another section is music for stage and screen. So there's Defying Gravity from Wicked, and there's the title track of Star Wars, which is, I bet you all know that. And then finally, this fusion section. So we have a piece of music called the Afro-Celt Sound System from their album release, which Afro-Celt sort of explains what's going to be going on there. And then a song by Esperanza Spalding, which is a most beautiful, beautiful song, but again, fusing different elements of from around the world. So to be able to understand that and hear what's going on really opens all our eyes onto a lot of the music that we hear today. In fact, it's carefully chosen so that there isn't that much that you can't then sort of really understand in a much greater way. So that's the course, and you know that you are able to do it if you're having instrumental lessons and you're about grade 2-ish now. You don't have to have taken an exam, certainly. A lot of people don't do exams. It's simply the standard that you're playing at that I'm interested in. Okay, but that leaves one big question, and it's why? Why would you want to do GCSE music? Because there's such a lot of choice, competition you might call it, and this is, I think, the trump card for music. Yes, the music that we study is great, but I think, you know, if you love your music, whatever sort, then you will love this course. And I'd say it's creative, you know, composing all sorts of music, experimenting, performing with your friends. What a wonderful thing to be doing. And you learn a lot about cultural and historical events, and not only musical facts, but placing all the music in a context. It's important to know that it doesn't exclude you from all sorts of careers. That's if I can bust that myth. I think it's important to know that actually music is seen as a rigorous academic subject. It's not a walk in the park, it's a proper GCSE. But it does broaden your horizons, and it's really respected by universities. You know, it shows your dedication if you're learning an instrument, and that impresses very much. Another myth I can bust is that you have to have very high theory. You don't. That just moves along at the same level as you're playing, and we can help you with that as well. Okay. So it's a multidisciplinary GCSE. So you know, not to be exhaustive, but it's social, It helps problem solving, you're analytical, it helps with your communication skills enormously, your self-management. I think what I'll finish off with is something from the Cambridge University Exam Board. Their studies show that taking music roughly equates to a typical student who takes 9 GCSEs, getting 1 grade higher in 1 or 2 of their other subjects because of how it sort of fires all elements of your brain. I'd like to think, perhaps more than any other subject, that it's really engrossing. And I guess if you love music, you know what I'm talking about. Whichever style of music it is that you really enjoy, you know that it can take you somewhere really special. And to be able to study that and find out more about it at school is a real treat, I think. Most people who do GCSE don't go on and become musicians. Well, in the same way that most people don't become historians if they do history. You don't have to do that, but it does allow you to enjoy this great hobby of yours, this skill of yours, and take it further and open the lid on something that I'm certain you'll do all your life. You'll listen to music, play music all your life, and to be able to understand more about it now is fabulous. Okay, so I think there's a Q&A thing now. I don't know whether there are going to be any questions. I guess even if you're watching this as a video, don't hesitate to ask me questions, ask Miss Humphreys questions, and maybe even better, ask the year 10s who are halfway through their first year of doing it. They're brilliant. Don't tell them. They're fantastic musicians. They just love all styles of different sorts of music. Ask them what they enjoy most, how much of a surprise it was, perhaps, if it wasn't quite what they anticipated. I believe they're loving the course, and so I'd be extremely happy for you to talk to them and see what you think. But please put anything in the chat, and I can answer it now. Great. Well, I'm delighted that it's working. That's excellent. Oh, here's a question. What percentage of the, thank you, Janet, for this. What percentage of the GCSE is coursework? Really good question, because, you know, does it take pressure off the final exam? It's 60%. It's 30% for performance, 30% for composition, and 40% for the actual written exam. So yes, you could say it does take pressure off that final exam. Yeah. And actually, if you are a particularly capable performer above grade 4, your marks get boosted. So, you know, if in 2 years' time, 2.5 years' time, you're going to be a grade 5 player, doesn't that play into your hands? It really does. Then, hello, Anonymous. Is there a minimum number of students you have to run the course? Not as far as I've been told. I might get dragged off into a corner by Ruth Lee at some point, but no, as far as I know, no. I'm not anticipating, from what I hear, I don't think there'll be any problem with that. Now, oh, here's another one coming in. Great. What would the average GCSE lesson be like? They're varied because of the coursework element and the exam element. So we chop it up, to be honest. Sometimes you'll be doing some composition, working on the computers. Other times you'll be studying one of the set works. So, you know, that's a greatly different experience. Oh, I should add actually that we have all sorts of support sessions outside of school to help people in their practical exams, and for their GCSE oral and listening and theory and all of that stuff that just helps. Don't have to go, but that's another thing that we offer that just outside of that tight lesson time can support what you're doing. But no, the lessons vary enormously, not only because the music is vastly different. You know, you could be listening to a piece of Bach one day and then you're listening to Star Wars. Wow, that's I love that variety. And then back on a computer creating your own music. And of course, we give you great help doing that as well. We know that's going to be a new skill for most people. Okay. Questions? It's a nice. Yes, it's working. You can hear me. But that does seem to be the end of questions for now. But I can bang on about music GCSE until the cows come home. So please don't feel that if you suddenly think of something, then you can't ask. You absolutely can and should. Oh, I think another one's come in. How many class groups are there per year doing music? Well, at the moment there's one. It depends what we get up to. There's got to be a point at which point it goes into two. And then, Mr. Mwanga, your daughter is severely interested in music at A level. Any advice? Great. Well, I'd say do it. Come and have a chat with us. Please come and have a chat because it's always very good to know what is involved. If you're talking about Emma, then there's a bit of time to go yet, but you know, very talented girl. I hope she does. But with any subject, actually, it's important to know what you're letting yourself in for, isn't it? So not only the teachers, but talk to some of the students, I'd say. And I know that can be a bit daunting if they're the year above you, but they're a lovely lot, the year 10. So please go and talk to them as well as for me. Okay, this is about to finish. Do we offer any trips? Yes, we do. It's been COVID, so we haven't, but we certainly love to get out and about. Very much so. And go out ourselves and perform, not only go and see people. Similar question, do students get any concerts or do any live performances come into the lessons? Yes, and as restrictions reduce, so that can happen more. It's so I hope, you know, that's going to change. It's going in the right direction though, fingers crossed. Now, it still seems to be going, which is great. Oh yes, we've still got 7 minutes. Silly me. Yeah, so it's tough at the moment, but we've got plans. In fact, there's one big trip going out later on this year, but we've just got to be careful right now. We have people coming in, both giving demonstrations of instruments and in our new building. I hope this is going to be a real hub for the island. For those of you who don't know, the plans on foot were really advanced, actually, for a wonderful, wonderful new building, which is at the heart of which is a stunning recital hall, really fabulous. So it's our expectation that a lot of artists will want to come into JCG to perform, because it's going to be the best place. It'll have a wonderful piano, amazing acoustics, great lighting, comfy seats. So we're really lucky, actually, really lucky. I hope a year from September it'll be up and running. Fingers crossed. Any more questions? I hope it was clear what the course is about. So please come back to me if it's not. I just think it's brilliant. I love the variety. It's a bit, I was talking to somebody today and saying it's a bit like food. You know, you've got to, there's all styles of different cuisine that we might like this, might not like that, but you really get to understand, you know, what's out there, and then you can sort of gorge yourself to the max, if that's not a really sort of ghastly way of putting it. But you can really, really experience music in all its richness, and that, I think, is a treat. Okay, well, questions have dried up. So if you are all happy, then I'm going to hang up. We've done 25 minutes. So thank you greatly for coming along. Thank you for your questions. And I look forward to teaching your students, teaching your girls. Okay. Cheerio from me.